Okay, so let's get started. Rite artham yat pratiyeta
Ritiratam yat pratiyeta
na pratiyeta chatmani
na pratiyeta chatmani
tad vidyadatmano mayam
tad vidyatatmano mayam
yata bhaso yata tamaham.
yatha bhaso yatha tamaha.
What appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusory energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of a real light in the shadows. For in the light, there are neither shadows nor reflections. Okay, so maybe your daughter can read this purport.
My son, Prabhu, his name is Krishna Chaitanya.
Oh, Krishna Chaitanya, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, son. One of my other friend has a daughter, that's why I was thinking daughter. Okay, keep going.
Krishna, you are ready to read? Yeah.
In the previous
Verse.
the absolute truth and its nature have been explained. One must also understand the relative truth to actually know the absolute. The relative truth, which is called
Maya.
or material nature, is explained here. Maya has no dependent existence. One who is less intelligent is captivated by the wonderful activities of Maya, but he does not understand that behind these activities is the direction of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, it is said,
Maya dhaksena prati Maya dhaksena prati suyeta sacharacharam.
Sacharacharam. The material nature is working and producing moving and non-moving beings only by the supervision of Krishna.
The real nature of Maya, the illusory existence of the material manifestation, is clearly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. The absolute truth is substance, and the absolute truth is substance, and the relative truth depends upon the relationship with the absolute for its existence. Maya means energy, therefore the relative truth is explained to be the energy of the absolute truth. Since it is difficult to understand the distinction between the absolute truth, the distinction between the absolute and the relative truth, an analogy can be given for clarification. The absolute truth can be compared to the sun, which is appreciated in terms of two relative truths, reflection and darkness. Darkness is the absence of sunshine, and the reflection is the projection of sunlight into darkness. Neither darkness nor reflection has an independent existence. Darkness comes when the sunshine is blocked. For example, if one stands facing the sun, his back will be darkness, since darkness stands in absence of sun. It is therefore relative to the sun. The spiritual world is compared to the real sunshine, and the material world is compared to the dark region where the sun is not visible. When the material manifestation appears very wonderful, this is a little bit of this is due to a perfect reflection of the supreme sunshine. The absolute truth as confirmed in Vedanta Sutra, whereas whatever one can see here has its substance in the absolute. As darkness is situated far away from the sun, so the material world is also far away from the spiritual world. The Vedic literature directs us not to be captivated by the dark regions, tamaha, but to try to reach the shining region of the absolute. yogi dharma, yogi dharma. The spiritual world is brightly illuminated, but the material world is wrapped in darkness. In the material world, sunshine, moonshine, or different kinds of artificial lights are required to dispel darkness, especially at night, for by nature, the material world is dark. Therefore, the Supreme Lord has arranged for sunshine and moonshine. But in his abode, are described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 6. There is no necessity of lights by sunshine, moonshine, or electricity because everything is self-effulgent.
That which is relative, temporary, and far away from the absolute truth is called Maya or ignorance. This illusion is
Exhibited
exhibited in two days,
two ways.
in two ways, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The inferior illusion is inert matter, and the superior illusion is the living entity. The living entities are also illusory
As
in
called
this context only because they are implicated in the illusory
structures
structures
and
and
activities.
activities of the material world. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are
Yep.
parts of the superior energy of the Supreme Lord and do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to be so. The actions of the living entities in the spiritual kingdom are not illusory. They are the actual eternal activities of liberated souls.
Very good. Thank you. So a lot of good points are mentioned here. So dark regions are called tamaha and shining regions are called yogi dhamma. So if you graphically put it, right, this is what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say. There are dark regions which are called tamaha. And then shining regions are called yogi dhamma. So if you think of it, if you put sunlight on this side, there is shadows, right? So this dark region or shadow is called tamaha. So we are in the dark region right now. Material world is considered to be a dark region of the spiritual world. So material region is also a part of the spiritual world, but it is the dark region. We are stuck here, dark region. And then the shining regions are called yogi dhamma. So which is on the front side, right? So this is the shining region. And what Prabhupada says here is there are two kinds of reflections, right? Where does he say that? Let me go there, here. Yeah, there are two relative truths, reflection and darkness, right? So we need to understand that there is not one, but there are two relative truths, reflection and darkness. So what is happening here in the reflection? So if you if you say hypothetically there is a sun on this side. So if you put the sun, let's see if we get any images for the sun. How come there is no image of the sun? There is no sun? Yeah. So if we say this is the smiley face sun, and if you put him here, what happens? Actually, let's do this sun, not smiley face. So there is sun on this side that is causing the light, right? So this light is, there are two things that happen to the light. One is reflection, means it'll go touch that and get reflected, right? If I do like this, and then there is an arrow that is coming back, which is the reflected light. So there is a reflection coming back. And the second one, what Prabhupada says is, let's go back to the thing, darkness. So this darkness on the back, dark regions, is the second characteristic. So when sunlight comes, there is a light incident ray, reflected ray, and then there is a dark region in the back. So this dark region is called Tama region, means mode of ignorance. And the shining regions are called Yogi Dhama regions, right? So essentially what we are saying is we have to be in the shining region, which is the spiritual world, and the dark region, which is the material world. So neither darkness nor reflection has independent existence. Darkness comes when sunshine is blocked, right? If I stand in front of the sun when sun is rising, and the backside will be darkness, shadow. Therefore, it is relative to the sun. If there is no sun, there is no darkness. So similarly, Maya doesn't exist independent of the Supreme Lord. If there is Supreme Lord, Maya exists. So as darkness is situated far away from the sun, material world is also far away from the spiritual world. This is the key point, right? So when there is a product here, the darkness is quite far away on this piece of paper. So there is light coming on this side, darkness is spread out quite far away. So therefore, it also means that our material world is quite far away from the spiritual world. So because there is darkness, what did the Supreme Lord do? He arranged for sunshine and moonshine in the material world. There is no necessity for sunshine or moonshine, as you can see from Bhagavad Gita 15:6. It says, Na tad bhashyate suryo, na shashanka pavakaha. Means I don't need sun, I don't need moon to light my world. Krishna himself is saying, Na tad bhashyate suryo. There is no Surya in my planet, spiritual world.
Right.
So again, this illusion is exhibited in two ways. This is additional detail Krishna is giving. Srila Prabhupada is giving actually. So he's saying the inferior illusion is inert matter, like our table, our chairs. That is inferior illusion. And superior illusion is living entity. So we are actually marginal, but we are also in the illusion section right now. But our original connection with the Supreme Lord is always there. So we don't need to worry about being in this inferior energy because we can change ourselves and go back to the superior energy. Why is he saying they are illusory? Because the living entities are implicated in the illusory structures and activities of the material world. So what are the illusory structures? Everything appears real here, right? So what is the illusory structure that we are competing against? Example, any example for an illusory structure?
Like in this material world, we say that this is mine and this is, I created this one and me, I. So these are the things, Prabhu.
Yeah, that is perfectly correct. So what are the illusory structures? So illusory structures are everything that you see from morning till evening, right? So it could be something like workplace, right? Place of work. That is an illusory structure.
Yeah, Prabhu, also like in the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, in the Mahavishnu explains to Brahma. So he mentioned, so if everything, like, if any part I am not present or any activities I am not present, so that is illusion. So if you exclude the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that is illusion. So this is what my understanding of it.
No, very good point. Anything excluding Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So family can be an illusion or family can be devotion. If you exclude Supreme Personality of Godhead from family, it's just illusion. You don't know why you are doing it.
Yes.
But if you add Supreme Personality of Godhead to family, then all of a sudden it becomes related to Krishna. So all of a sudden it becomes
And
very pure.
we should always think like, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is one of our family members. We should treat like the way we are treating our one of the family member, the same way we should treat Krishna, like for offering prasadam, or we are buying something we should buy for Krishna. So this kind of affection should be there in the family matter.
Correct. Correct. Very good point. Very, very good point. So illusory structure can be anything. It could be library, for example. It could be your car. It could be society. It could be family minus Krishna. If family plus Krishna is okay. Family minus Krishna is again illusion. So we have to be very careful. Almost everything can be illusory. We are implicated. Implicated means we are stuck there. And activities. What are some of the illusory activities?
So illusory activities, so activities including, if I'm doing some kind of mundane activities,
Yeah.
so that is illusory. That is illusions, right? So,
So let's list them down. One of them is cricket.
so for example, watching TV,
Yeah.
playing games, cricket, watching, some kind of games, or so these are the illusions.
Right.
Because people, I had one of the lectures who was explaining. So we, since we are in the material world, our senses, our senses have been lost, and we are in the degraded life. So that's the reason, what we always think, we always try to live in illusions, like watching TV, watching a movie. So what is that movie? It's illusion. We love illusions, right? So that's why the jivas in this matter world, they love to live in illusions. So that's why they are taking birth again and again in this matter world, because they love to live in that way. Right, Prabhu?
Correct. Perfect. Yeah, that is the answer. That's why you're taking birth again and again, because we are implicated in illusory structure and illusory activities, right? And almost everybody is in these illusory activities because they are thinking we can solve our material problems by doing these things. But it is a challenge. It is a big challenge actually.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
last time I really nicely explained the cosmic manifestation, right?
Right.
The so here sun, we were talking about sun, right, Prabhu? So what my understanding is that, so the sun should be present in each universe, right, Prabhu? So in our universe there is one sun, in another universe there is other suns, or the sun will be common for all the universes, the material universes I'm talking about.
Sorry, what is common?
Sun, sun
No,
and
yeah.
moon, right?
No, no. Sun is not common across universes. Every universe has its own sun. That is
Same
very
as
clearly
moon also,
stated.
right?
That's very clearly stated in Srimad Bhagavatam and Caitanya Caritamrta that the sun is one sun and one moon per universe. You see this? One universe,
Yeah,
one sun
one
and one
universe and
moon.
one.
Yeah, that's it. So one sun and one moon. The universe can be very big, the universe can be small, but it is still one sun and one moon.
I also heard that, Prabhu, like if you want, by the mercy of Krishna, if you want someone go to the spiritual world, so they have to cross to the sun planet, right? So sun planet is the higher planet. So like in our, I'm talking about in our universe. Like if you want to go to the beyond the universe or maybe to the upper planet system, you have to cross the sun. So by the mercy of Krishna, the sunlight becomes so cool, or the sun rays, because the sun in the sun, because they're helium, right? They're burning, and it's so kind of, the temperature is so high. So, but I had like some lectures, or maybe if you go to the spiritual world, you have to cross the sun planet, and once you, by the mercy of Krishna, the sun becomes so cool so that you can easily cross the sun planet. Is that
Yeah, that is
understanding right?
that is a correct understanding. But also, when you're crossing the sun planet, when you're crossing the moon and the sun and many other planetary systems, at that point you don't have a gross body. Only the gross body
Yeah.
can be burnt by heat or frozen by cold. But your soul, Nayanam Chindanti Shastrani, Nayanam Dahati Pavakaha. You cannot burn the soul. So even if it is 1300, 1800 degrees Celsius, when the soul cannot be burnt. So at that point, the soul is traveling. The gross body is left here. Only the soul is traveling back to the spiritual world,
So, yes.
right? So even the subtle
Yeah.
body is left here. If you have a subtle body, means mind, intelligence, and false ego. If you have desires, then the subtle body will be there. But once you only desire to serve Krishna, even subtle body you live here. Gross body is gone, subtle body is gone, and only the soul travels through the heavenly planets and all these planetary systems, including sun, and finally comes to spiritual world.
Okay, yeah. So I had like, so when the person leaves the body, three things goes with him. One is the mind, intelligence, and false ego with that is the subtle body, and the atma, or the soul, that usually transfer from one body to another body. But you said, Prabhu, if someone goes to the higher planetary system, let's say Vaikuntha, Krishna Lok, so he has to leave his subtle body also here, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Only the
Subtle
soul
body
will
is
be.
the subtle body is actually becomes a nuisance at that point. Because what happens is the subtle body has mind, and mind has all the memories from your million lifetimes or 10 million lifetimes, whatever it is different for each individual. And so all that mind has a lot of junk in it. So we have to leave the mind also here, the intelligence also here, and the ahankar also here. Then we can go to the Swarupa Siddhi when we go to the spiritual world.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah, it's very, very, there whole cantos on this topic in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like from the fifth canto, they talk about the structure of the universe. There they talk about how to, when you, like the falling is easy, but going back, how you leave earth, how you leave water, how you leave fire, air, ether, how you leave mind, how you leave intelligence, how you leave ahankar. All this is very nicely explained. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam and Caitanya Caritamrta put together will give you the complete information about the spiritual world, how to go there. So yeah, there is a lot of information. We just have to carefully study it and apply it in our life and benefit from it. Everything will not happen in month, as you can imagine. So yeah, we are here. So the actions of living entities in the spiritual kingdom are not illusory. So when we go and get our Swarupa Siddhi, then we are not doing any illusory activities. We are only doing Krishna activities. So that is our goal.
So, yeah,
That
Prabhu, also thanks for Prabhu. So I have one little doubt, so since I understand that, one thing is that always think about, how this happened. For example, so all the demigods, right? Since all the demigods have been, drink the nectar, and they are immortal, right? So immortal means, but I had like in the at end of Brahma's Kalpa, so everything is got annihilated, and even though the demigods, the sun, moon, everything, right? So, and based upon that, demigods also get Vaikuntha planet, or again they appear in the material world.
Yeah, so basically what happens is when there is mini pralaya, the demigods and the sages will go up. They go towards Satyaloka because anything earth and below gets submerged. Okay. And then people, the pure pious souls, will go from Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka to Satyaloka. They go up. In the full pralaya, and then once the pralaya finishes, mini pralaya finishes, they come down. But in the full pralaya, there is no coming down. Everything is annihilated. Satyaloka will also be annihilated. So as the waters of the Garbhodaka ocean are coming up, 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 so these sages will go to higher and higher planets. They finally reach Satyaloka. Brahma will take all these sages and demigods, and whoever is pious. I mean, if somebody has made some mistakes, then they'll again take birth in the material world. But for those who are extremely pious, not in one lifetime, but in many, many lifetimes, Brahma will personally take them to the Vaikuntha planets.
Correct, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it is like, when there is a flood, you leave the lower floors and go to higher floors, right? But when the flood subsides, you come down to lower floors. But Mahapralaya is like,
Correct.
even the topmost floor will be annihilated. So helicopter will come, Brahma will come in a helicopter, will take all the passengers from the top floor roof, top. And as soon as all the passengers get into the helicopter, even the Satyaloka gets annihilated. The whole total building collapses. It's like that. In a
Right.
kind of material example.
Right. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And again,
And
all this
also,
information is there. It is just there across many scriptures. Like Srimad Bhagavat will give you some, Caitanya Caritamrta will give you some, Brahma Samhita will give you some, like that.
yes, yes, got it, bro.
But these are all very good questions because, otherwise, what is our hope, right? When the annihilation comes, if we are also annihilated, then what's the point? So we are not annihilated. Krishna will arrange for us to be rescued and taken back to the spiritual world. Okay. Yata mahanti bhutani
यथा महन्ति भूतानि
bhutesu cha sveshchesva anum
भूतेषु च पशेषनो
pravishtani apavishtani
प्रविष्टानि अपविष्टानि
tata teshu na teshvaham.
तथा तेषु न तेषहम्.
As the material elements enter the bodies of living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all material creations and yet I am not within them. Just like, earth, water, air, fire, ether is in your body, my body. But there is earth on the ground, air in the air, water in the stream. So there are material elements within us and there are material elements outside of us. Similarly, the Lord is saying, I exist within all material creations and yet I am not within them. So he is simultaneously in this world and simultaneously outside of this world, in the spiritual world. So we talked about, the Lord coming last time in this diagram where we said that, maybe not in this diagram, maybe in the other one. So in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, Krishna says, I am the supreme knower, supreme super knower, real enjoyer, and supreme controller. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that he is Ananda Brahma and we are Vijnana Brahma. So there are layers. Again, Bhagavad Gita, it comes very handy. Because if you look at this Bhagavad Gita, the various layers, where did I put that? So many slides here. Maybe it's in the other slide. I'll show you that. Or maybe I deleted that slide because I was discussing this with my students yesterday. So what did I do to that slide? Maybe it got deleted. No, it is here. Luckily, I didn't lose it. So in chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, it says Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya. These are the domain of living entities, and we consider ourselves to be enjoyer. And above this, we have Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. Anandamaya, not Maya, Maya. Anandamaya means with Ananda, that is the Supreme Lord, and Vijnanamaya, this is Brahman realization of individual living entities. So we are considered Vijnanamaya when we are closer to God, but prior to that, we are in Anna, Prana, and Jnana, the three layers. So assuming we come to this Vijnanamaya platform, so this Lord is there in every field. So this is called Kshetra, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. What is Kshetra? The body and the material world. What is Kshetrajna? The living entity like you and me, as well as the super soul, Paramatma, Krishna. So this soul has the capacity
Field,
to enjoy sense
there
gratification.
is three things, right? This is the
Sorry, repeat that.
versus yeah, so Khetra, Khetranga, and the enjoy, right? The sword, sorry, the door of the activities. So, hello, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, so I believe this is this the Khetra, Khetranga, and the door of the activities, right, Prabhu? So this is chapter. I forgot the chapter, Prabhu. It's
13, chapter
chapter
13.
7.
Yeah.
Chapter 13. Okay, Prabhu. So here, like the what is called the the field of activities, and the door, right, Prabhu?
Correct,
So
correct.
the door is part of the action word for me. The the field it is the material world, and the Khetranga, or the knower of the body. It is known as Khetranga, right?
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, that whole chapter is based upon Kshetra, Kshetra, and Vibhaga Yoga.
Yes, yes.
What is the division and what are the individual characteristics of the doer, the individual soul, who is the finite enjoyer, within the field, which is the body, and there is a bigger field, which is the material world.
Yes, yes. So the field also known as our body as well as the material world, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah, there are two fields. Like just like if you see 10,000 acres, each farmer may have 2 acres, 3 acres. So 2, 3 acres is called field. 10,000 acres is also called field.
Yes, Prabhu. Right, right. And the engineer is the who is the engineer of this particular field is the soul and
Ultimately,
the
ultimately, enjoyer of this field is Supreme Lord only. But what the individual soul does is it has limited enjoyment capacity. So it is exploiting that limited enjoyment capacity, and we should get out of that exploitation.
yes, okay.
That's why I put it graphically so that we can debate about this and understand what's going on, right? Otherwise, with English language, you can hear the language, but you may not fully understand. So here, this Ananda Brahma is distributing himself. It's like distributed processing. So there are distributed in 8 billion human beings and trillions of living entities there everywhere. And all these different individual fields that are just trying to enjoy. The knower of the field is just trying to enjoy finitely, not infinitely. But real enjoyer is ultimately the Ananda Brahma Krishna. So that's why we have to get out of our upadhis. Like I am happy, I am man, I am woman, I am dog, I am cat, I am Indian, I am software engineer. These are all bodily upadhis. So that's why Rupa Goswami says, Sarva upadhi vinirmuktam, tatparetvena nirmalam, Rishikesha Rishikena, Sevanam Bhakti Uttama. So Uttama Bhakti means understanding the Rishikesha and getting rid of all these upadhis. I am man, I am husband, I am wife. Ultimately, you are just a Jivatma in the field, and Paramatma is also there right next to you. You have to just serve the Paramatma. Otherwise, we'll be just stuck here for a long, long, long time. So that is why this Srila Prabhupada is excellent. He gives everything structurally, systematically, step by step, like that he gives. Okay, so maybe
Yeah,
you can.
Jivara Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das. That is our constitutional position.
Right.
Chaitanya, as per the Chaitanya. Yeah, I'm reading the purport to you.
Yes, go ahead.
The gross material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, combined with the subtle material elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego, to construct the bodies of this material world. And if they have beyond these bodies as well. Any material construction is nothing but an but an amalgamation or combination of metal elements in varied proportions. These elements exist both within and beyond the body. For example, although the sky exists in the space, it also enters within the body. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of the metal energy, lives within the metal world as well as beyond it. Without his presence within the metal world, the cosmic body could not develop. Just as without the presence of the spirit within the physical body, the body could not develop. The entire material manifestation develops and exists because the Supreme Personality of Godhead enters it as Paramatma or the Super Soul. The Personality of Godhead in its all pervading feature of Paramatma enters every entity from the biggest to the most minute. His existence can be realized by one who has the single qualification of submissiveness is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization, by which one can ultimately meet the Supreme Lord in person, as a man meets another man face to face.
Because of his development of transcendental attachment to the Supreme, down please. Supreme Lord, his surrendered soul feels the presence of his beloved everywhere, and all his senses are engaged in loving service of the Lord. His eyes are engaged in seeing the beautiful couple, Sri Radha and Krishna, sitting on a decorated throne beneath a desire tree in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. His nose is engaged in smelling the spiritual aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, his ears are engaged in hearing messages from Vaikuntha, and his hands embrace the lotus feet of the Lord and his associates. Thus the Lord is manifested to a pure devotee from within and without. This is one of the mysteries of the devotional relationship in which a devotee and the Lord are bound by a tie of spontaneous love. To achieve his love should be the goal of life for every living being.
Yeah. So, what is the goal of life? If somebody asks you, what will you say?
The goal of life is to love the God. Like,
That's it.
always think of Krishna.
Mama, how is my name?
Never forget Krishna, always think of Krishna.
Right. That's the only message Srila Prabhupada gave, final message to his devotees. Always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's it. So, spontaneous love. Right now we are intermittent, means we do it once every hour. Spontaneous means 24 by 7. Every second you are loving Krishna. So, you should think of this beautiful couple, Radha and Krishna, sitting on a decorated throne beneath the desire tree in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. So, what is needed first for our level? It is submissiveness.
Yes.
And That is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization. The more ye yatamam prapadyante tams tathaivya bhajamyaham. So it is all proportionate, ratio and proportion, right? It is not random. So single qualification of submissiveness becomes a surrendered soul is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization by which ultimately meets Supreme Lord in person. So this is the most important thing. We should somehow or the other develop that qualities, submissiveness. And then development of submissiveness cause of proportionate spiritual realization. So if you are 2% surrendered, Krishna will give you 2% result. If you are 20% surrendered, Krishna will give you 20% back. So what happens? A surrendered soul feels the presence of his beloved everywhere, and senses are engaged in the service of the Lord. So eyes are looking at the Lord, nose is smelling the Lord's aroma, like the tulsi at the feet of the Lord, everywhere. That's it. So even looking at the picture of Krishna is devotional service. You just keep on looking. Okay, let's chant now and then stop for the day.
Sure.
Sri Krishna